Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and a recession is formally defined as 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. That's exactly what the US have had, as announced yesterday. We got the GDP readout and it is of course at negative 0.9%. So this is an official recession. This recession, however, comes with a key difference because although it is a recession, it identifies as a bull market. So that's that. Got a quick clip for you here so you can get your daily dose of cringe.
Then why is it the White House officials are trying to redefine recession?
No, we're not redefining recession.
If we all understand a recession to be 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth in a row, and then you have White House officials come up here to say, no, that's not what a recession is. It's something else. How is that not redefining recession?
Because that's not the definition. That is not the definition.
Right.
Yes, it is. Actually, yes, it is the definition. Anyway, the futures, everything seems to have been largely priced in. Earnings haven't been too bad. I think everyone kind of knew ahead of time. They were sort of prepping for a negative GDP readout, weren't they? So they were sort of telling us that at the beginning of the week. And we didn't get a surprise rate hike from the Fed. So everything seems to have been largely priced in, and we're certainly getting at least a temporary relief rally at the moment, if not more than that. Europe is green. Pre-market futures are doing pretty well after Apple and Amazon have reported strong earnings. Gold and oil are catching a bounce too. Everything is really. Crypto, of course, having a rally. So the question is, was 12 to 14k Bitcoin crowded? It looks like it was for now. We'll soon find out. Gold and silver are flying at the same time. Bitcoin seems bullish. The fear and greed index is still in fear, although we are heading towards neutral territory. And amongst all of this, I just wanted to kind of pause and ask the question, are we in disbelief? Is this a suckers rally that will fail? Is that the consensus? On Twitter, a lot of people don't seem to be turning bullish yet. A lot of people think this is going to fail. I think we're either in disbelief or we could be here, right? This is another possibility for me. And I'm not sure at the moment. It's too early to tell. Although I'm long, the question is, am I going to duck out soon? Or am I going to be pushing and pushing and pushing, hoping that we can get one of these, right? Only time will tell. I do think there's somewhat of a bias to make one more lower low. It doesn't have to be a lower low. It could be an equal low or even a higher low. But I think we have to make at least some sort of dip into the end of the year to print that 4-year cycle low. So my bias would be that we're more in this section than this section. However, just scrolling through Twitter, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of anger, and there's most importantly, a whole heap of disbelief. Not many people think that this is about to unfold, which makes me think that quite possibly we are in this disbelief part of the cycle. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. The 4-year cycle does tell us that we're probably more likely in here and that we've got to see another low around November, December. So we'll be open to that, but also open to seeing if we can push the trade, because if we are in disbelief, then we may well have bought the absolute bottom, right? So we'll see how that goes. This rally, when it comes, will be the saltiest, most hated, most shorted, most face-ripping rally in Bitcoin's history. And I have to agree. We're starting to see signs of this. There's 82 million in Bitcoin short positions liquidated in the last 24 hours alone. So that's a big number, but it's not enormous. We'll have to see how this plays out over the coming weeks. In other news, US Bank has pressured its employees to open fake accounts in their customers' names in order to meet unrealistic sales goals. And it's done this for more than a decade. Nobody is surprised anymore. I was kind of surprised about this. I mean, you know there's chicanery that goes on at the bank, right? But to just open fake accounts for a decade in order to fudge the sales goals, I was kind of, even that caught me off. And I'm like, I don't trust banks 1 ounce. I never have and I never will. There's the source here if you want to go and read that. But it just begs the question, doesn't it? How many other banks, if any, are doing this? And do they all do this? Is that problem with Twitter bots, where a huge chunk of Twitter's accounts are bots, does that apply to the banking industry as well? A huge percentage of their accounts, are they fake accounts? I don't know. US crypto exchanges, FTX, has opened stock trading for users in all 50 states. So what we're seeing is the merge of crypto and traditional finance. So I think this is likely a good thing. Why should you have to go to a separate crypto exchange? Why couldn't you just go to traditional finance route? I mean, crypto exchanges could exist on the side if that's their business model, but it makes sense, right, to be able to go into your normal brokerage account and get access to crypto as well as everything else all side by side. And off the back of that, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, is saying the agency is working with crypto exchanges to regulate them like securities exchanges, which only makes sense if they're going to start brokering stocks and bonds and everything else. Then that sort of makes sense to treat it all like that. And then I guess you would just tar crypto or Bitcoin with a commodity brush and treat it like that. France, though, they're not as encouraging at the moment. They have forced their F1 teams to remove their cryptocurrency sponsors from the cars, which at first I was like, why have they done that? But then it occurred to me, maybe it's because they don't want people buying the bottom and getting wealthy, right? Maybe it's because they don't want people to see these adverts and start researching Bitcoin when they're at the lows. Maybe they'd prefer to wait until Bitcoin's at new highs and then they can slap the stickers back on and get everyone to be their exit liquidity at the top, right? 167 billion. Santander Bank Brazil is going to offer Bitcoin trading to all 55 million of its customers. This is enormous. Santander, of course, being one of the biggest banks out there, $167 billion is a lot of money. 55 million customers is a lot of customers. That's a lot of onboarding if only 10%, 20%. And let's be honest, over time, it's going to be a lot more than that, isn't it? So this is the first of many major banks, I assume, that are going to be offering this sort of thing. So I expect this to be a trend that continues. We've got to remember to pay homage to gold at the moment. Although Bitcoin is going to do Bitcoin things, I think gold is going to as well. And I saw this encouraging tweet from Peter Brand to say that it's held the lower boundary of this 23-month rectangle, which is the yellow box here, which forms part of this cup and handle pattern. And he thinks this will serve as the handle. The bull market has started, according to Peter Brand. I think it might be a little bit too early to call, but what do I know? Prices head north. Target headed to 3k plus over the next couple of years. So this is exactly what I expect to. I think we're going to make our way up here, do a bit of chop, and then we're going to go. So I'm looking forward to that. With that said, let's get into the charts. Dollar is breaking down. This is fascinating to me. Is this what we're going to see? Are we just going to see no lower high? Are we just going to see a true breakdown here? I don't know. Obviously, I never know. I just read the charts, but the charts are telling us we've had a breakdown, as you can see. So it's hard to argue with that. We'll keep an eye on it. Was this the lower high, perhaps? I don't know. But I'll keep an eye on this. I'll continue to update as appropriate. For now, though, the dollar is off, and that is likely contributing to some of the risk-on appetite that we are seeing. Bitcoin is, look at this, working on taking out the prior high. So this is good. I think I've said before, where's my bars tool? So I think I said this before, I'm just kind of expecting this to play out here again, really. And then we can get this drop into the half cycle low and move potentially for one more of these quarter cycle lows up again. So perhaps we get something like that. Maybe up into this trend line, I don't know. That's the sort of thing I'm expecting to see, or that's at least what I'm hoping to see. So we'll continue to monitor that and push that trade. Ethereum is doing Ethereum things, isn't it? Look at this, had a little trap, but this is a perfect swing low here. And this opens up, in my opinion, at least 2200 and possibly beyond. So this has turned out to be a nice trade. MATIC, kind of struggling to get above this dollar mark, isn't it? It's big psychological resistance, but again, we've got this same sort of trap, swing, recover. We've now broken out above the top of this pendant. Looks like we're coming for the retest and we're pushing higher. So can we, hopefully, get one of these moves? Wouldn't this be nice, eh? Something like this, that would make sense to me. So again, I'll continue to push, continue to monitor this and update you as appropriate. We'll do the equities real quick. Long and strong. This is starting to look a bit more, this is starting to look a bit stronger, isn't it? It's starting to look a bit better, so happy with that. JD Sports, is it going to bounce? Isn't it? I don't know. No daily close below this line, so if you're watching the prior videos, you'll know. Daily close below this line and I'm out. I'll happily re-enter on a re-break, but for now, hopefully this can push up. S&P is pushing, which is nice. Should be moving up here somewhere, I would have thought, over the next week. Nasdaq still pushing this, back above this line now, so happy days. Dow I haven't looked at in a while, but you can see breakout, retest, resumption all day long. Oil into resistance, so is it going to break out next week? I'm definitely not taking any positions on a Friday, or is this going to open up a short here? I'm not sure yet, but we'll get an answer by Monday, I would have thought. And I've saved the best till last. Gold, look at this. Gold is making moves above the horizontal, then above the diagonal trend line break. So hopefully we can get a good push. I really want to see us recover this trend line here and then start a major bull run. So if we can recover this and break this, if I extend this out, this is more lines than I like to have it, to be honest, but it is what it is. If we can get above this downtrend and above this line here, then I will say bull market is confirmed. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if we can get there. Silver into its first resistance now. Can we break this? We'll soon find out. And the silver miners, judging by these candles, we should get some level of gap and go here. So looking forward to pushing that as well. Take a quick look at yields. Yields have broken down, coming in for that retest perhaps. So we'll see about this. But to be honest, overall, it all looks good, doesn't it? We do have to be mindful because there's nothing to say that any of this couldn't fail. All of this is capable of rolling over and making new lows. But at least for now, I do think that a lot of people are still very bearish. A lot of people still want price down here. So potentially that's telling us to be open to more upside. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're not already. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. Look after yourselves, look after your families. All the best from me. Cheers.